Hey there, good evening. Happy Easter, and welcome to Quick Bite History's live show where we do our best to have some fun with history. Tonight we have three segments in our live show. First up, we will bring out our robots for a challenging round of speed painting. Tonight we present the classic TV shows from the 1970s edition. So that should be pretty fun. In the second segment, our robots will challenge you with Famous Writers Edition. And finally, we will host an open chat discussion while we preview one of our recently published smooth jazz chills set to serene scenes of nature. So now I'd like to see if anybody's here. If I can get anybody to check in the chat, I'll fire up the first round and we'll get going. Anybody here? Anybody chat? Okay, we'll fire it on up. Here we go. Again, this is going to be a robot speed painting, and it's going to be the 1970s TV show edition. Now I'm going to give you some clues, and then you guys are going to guess. Hey there. This dynamic duo dazzled viewers with their banter and variety comedic skits, and of course musical performances. Featuring a popular married couple of the 70s known for their hit songs as well as their TV presence. And I have a final clue that will probably give it away. Does anybody know who it is yet? I Got You, Babe could often be heard during the episodes of this husband-wife pair who hosted their own variety show. There it is. What's going on? You got it. I remember watching that show as a kid. I don't know if you remember watching that show, along with other popular ones like the Glenn Campbell Show and others like that. For anybody that didn't get it, this is indeed Sonny and Cher. Sonny and Cher, the Sonny and Cher Show. All right, let's move on to the next one. Follow the melodious life of a family that turns their love for music into a full-fledged pop career. A colorful school bus travels the country with a family band driven by their mother. Anybody remember before I give the final clue? This show featured David Cassidy and Shirley Jones. This show tunes in to the heartwarming and tuneful adventures of a singing family. Anybody remember? I remember watching this all the time. I would think you guys would remember this one. Anybody know? Come on, take a guess. I guess the painting's a little. There it is. Susan with the Partridge Family. Very good. The Partridge Family. You got it. All right, moving on to number 3. A heartwarming series that takes us back to the simpler times of American frontier life. Simpler times. It was based on a popular series of books. This show portrays the life and challenges of the Ingalls family. Anybody know? Before I give that final clue? The wholesome adventures of Laura and her family as they grow up in the 1970s Midwest. Who remembers? I remember watching this one too. I think I'd be good at this one. There it is. I see the winner. Thank you, sir. That is correct. It wasn't on that many seasons. Anybody know how many seasons Little House on the Prairie was on? Little House on the Prairie, Michael Landon, Melissa Gilbert. All right, good job. Moving on to the next one. A sitcom that's out of this world with humor that's simply universal. An alien from Orc arrives on Earth in an egg-shaped spacecraft, befriending a young woman from Boulder, Colorado. You just see the guy coming in with the script. The Hollywood executive saying, What? What are you talking about? I'm not going to give you the final clue until you guys try to guess this one. Very popular show towards the end of the 70s and into the 80s. This show starred Robin Williams. The series focuses on a quirky extraterrestrial with the greeting Nanu Nanu. Sorry, Alexa's trying to talk to me right now. So Alexa had the answer. Mork and Mindy, correct. Indeed, Mork and Mindy. All right, got another one in the same vein for you. Here we go. Number 5. Laughter ensues in this sitcom about misunderstandings and the challenges of roommates sharing an apartment. Two female roommates and one male share a living space under the pretense that their cohabitation is platonic, due to the male being falsely assumed to be gay by the landlord. I remember this, don't you? Funny show. Friends? Not a chance. Susan's got it. Susan's got it. Everybody else got it too? This was a great show. Does anybody remember the landlord's name? Who remembers the landlord's name? Nobody? Well, anyway, the correct answer is indeed Three's Company. Wasn't there was like a best friend or something too that was always over? Quite the cast. All right, let's move on to number 6. I'm gonna hold on a second for the clue here. You guys might get it just from the artwork here. Set sail on romantic and comedic escapades across the beautiful seas. A cruise ship staffed with a lovable crew encounters various passengers with stories of love and adventure. This one actually launched lots of sequels or spin-offs, I guess you call them. I think Susan's got all these. Good job. That is correct. Everybody remembers. Captain Stubing and his crew navigate the waters of matchmaking and mishaps aboard the Pacific Princess. That's right. It is indeed the Love Boat. Who can remember a spin-off of the Love Boat? If I remember, we might have another one in the show here. Let's see. This next one might be hard. I never watched this next one. An often overlooked satire that dives deep into the bizarre and melodramatic aspects of suburban life. The title character deals with the absurdities of her domestic life, reflecting a satirical take on soap operas. Again, I don't think I watched this much, but I certainly knew of it. Louise Lasser stars in this parody featuring a housewife from Fernwood, Ohio, overwhelmed by the oddities around her. Anybody know? Nobody knows? Nobody remembers? Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman? Guess you guys didn't watch it either. I'm not the only one. All right, I'm sure you'll get the next one. Groundbreaking and controversial, this series tackles social issues through the lens of a working class family. I believe it was always on like Sunday nights, maybe? I'm kind of trying to remember that. The irascible head of the household often finds his conservative views challenged by the world changing around him. Susan's got it quick. Oh, Susan's fair. The irascible. I don't think I've ever used that word before. Archie Bunker, played by Carol O'Connor, is at the center of the family and political debates at 704 Hauser Street. Who remembers the son-in-law? Who was the son-in-law? Archie Bunker. Well, yeah, the show was called All in the Family, and Archie Bunker. And the son-in-law was Meathead. All right, moving on. You guys will remember this one. This crime drama features a trio of capable and stylish women solving mysteries with intellect and martial arts. The lead characters are private detectives working for a mysterious benefactor who communicates through a speakerphone. Remember that? You remember who his name was? Do you remember the speakerphone guy? What was his name? Very good, Susan. Final clue. Farrah Fawcett, along with her co-stars, became the iconic part of this 70s series, known for their hair and fashion as much as their detective work. And of course, who was the speakerphone guy? That was indeed Charlie from Charlie's Angels. Yes, Charlie. You guys will remember this. This one's almost before my time, but still definitely when the show was on in the 70s. A show that brings charm of a beloved Hollywood star into the world of television. This sitcom features a warm and talented woman balancing her career and single parenthood. Jan, you should know this one. Que Sera Sera may come to mind as you watch Doris Martin navigate life's ups and downs. I guess that was the character name. But what was the name of the show? Good guess. Oh, there we go. Susan does have it. It is not Mary Tyler Moore. Mary Tyler Moore had brunette hair, I believe. This is indeed Doris Day. Doris Day, the Doris Day Show. Okay, here we go. Next up, number 11. More than halfway there. A family sitcom that showcases the life of a successful dry cleaning entrepreneur and his family. I didn't remember the profession. Successful dry cleaning entrepreneur. Moving on up to the east side. This family enjoys the perks of a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up to the east side. A deluxe apartment in the sky. George and Wheezy. I forgot her name. Wheezy. Make laughter and social commentary in one of the longest running African American shows on television. Susan has it. Y'all remember this one? It was indeed the Jeffersons. The Jeffersons. And it was on for a long time, wasn't it? So in the same genre from the 1970s, Our Robots Paint, you guys guess. This depicts a sitcom that presents a wealthy businessman adopting two brothers from Harlem, offering both humor and heartfelt moments. The Drummond family grows with the addition of two lovable and mischievous children. He was indeed mischievous. Gary Coleman delivers his famous catchphrase, "What you talking about with us?" It is beloved. I didn't do that very well. What you talking about with us? And his beloved family comedy. Susan has it. Very good. It is indeed Dipper Strokes. Who remembers, let's see, the daughter's name? What was her name in the show, or her actor name, or the maid? Anybody remember any of those? I don't think I do. Okay, let's move on. A former troublemaker returns to his high school as a teacher. You should be able to get it just from that clue alone. Facing a classroom of misfits, reminiscent of his own teenage years. The Sweat Hogs challenge their teacher daily, creating a comedy of errors and education. Who remembers this show? A former troublemaker returns to his high school. Gabe Kaplan stands at the head of the class, often sharing "up your nose with a rubber hose" with the students he secretly adores. Up your nose with a rubber hose. That is indeed correct. Everybody's got this one. Everybody's got this one. This one is indeed Welcome Back, Kotter. You guys are doing pretty good on the 70s TV shows that you kind of grew up with. But the famous writers will challenge you a little bit. Second round. Okay, next up. I didn't watch this show too much either. Although, well, I shouldn't say that. I probably did. Nostalgia reigns supreme in this series set in simpler times of the 1950s and 1960s. The Cunningham family experienced the highs and lows of life alongside a cool motorcyclist who loves his leather jacket. Yay! Becomes synonymous with the Fonz, the epitome of cool in this quintessential American sitcom. There it is. Anybody remember the other guys' names? Who at least the character names in the show? The dark hair and the red haired guy. Anybody remember those? Nobody? What was his name? They all had nicknames. Anyway, Happy Days is indeed correct. Happy Days. Talk about spinoffs. I don't know how many spinoffs came from that show. Okay, next up, number 15. We're getting to the end. A pair of streetwise cops tear through the streets in their distinctive red car, fighting crime. The two detectives are as close as brothers, often going undercover to solve the toughest cases. The dynamic duo's trusty Gran Torino becomes almost as famous as the crime-fighting escapades. This is the one I don't think I watched all that often. Potsy, that was the name I was looking for. Thank you, Susan. Potsy. I don't remember the red-haired. What was the red-haired guy's name? Can't remember. Do you remember this one? Yeah, Susan's got it. Did you watch this, Susan? I didn't. I don't think I watched this that much. Oh, yeah, they had a Gran Torino. I used to get this show confused with the two guys that looked the same, but they were from the South, and they had the General Lee car, and the girl that wore the Daisy Dukes. What was that one called? Smokey and the Bandit or something. Anyway, here we go. Two best friends and roommates navigate work and play in a bygone era of Americana. Working at a brewery in Milwaukee, these two women prove that friendship and laughter are the best remedies for life's challenges. Anybody know this one? With a monogrammed L on her sweater, Laverne always stands beside her equally spirited friend, Shirley. Laverne and Shirley. So what was the name of the show? Laverne and Shirley. Very good. All right, this next one is a little harder, so good luck. Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff of Happy Days, right? For sure. All right, next up, the Aloha Spirit meets hard-hitting police action in this iconic crime series. Detective Steve McGarrett leads an elite state police unit tracking down the island's most dangerous criminals. That is incorrect. There you go. That is correct. We have one incorrect and one correct. This preceded Magnum. This was like the model for Magnum. And what was the famous phrase that came out of that show? Famous phrase. Who knows that one? What did he always say? I love the song, right? They play the drums and the wave. The Hawaii Five-0 song was awesome. But who remembers the saying? The phrase "Book 'em Dano." Book 'em Dano is synonymous with the show's legacy. Okay, number 18. A mysterious resort where dreams and fantasies come to life for better or worse. Mr. Rourke, the suave host, and his assistant, Tattoo. I couldn't remember that guy's name, Tattoo. Welcome guests in an island where every fantasy is possible. And this one has a fantasy island. Yes, it's correct. And this has a famous saying as well. So I don't know if you can remember the famous saying. And then do you remember the two actors' names, perhaps? The two actors. So I'm looking for the two actors' name and the most famous saying from Fantasy Island. Who knows? Who knows? The most famous saying was, "The plane! The plane! The plane!" And then, does anybody remember actors? No? Ricardo Montalban and Hervé Villechaize or something close to that. And we're number 19, second to last. Here we go. The neat freak and slob become unlikely roommates during their shared apartment, turning their shared apartment into a battleground of order versus chaos. This was adapted from a hit play. This sitcom pits two divorced men against each other's habits in a comedic harmony. That is correct. For that one's pretty easy, and the painting's pretty clear on this one too, isn't it? The final clue was Felix and Oscar, opposite personalities, create the perfect recipe for laughter and mishaps. I can't remember were there spin-offs on this too? It almost seems like it. I don't remember. I think, in fact, well, anyway, maybe you guys know. Were there any spin-offs from this show? I'm not sure. The Odd Couple, of course. And now we have the last one of the 70s classic TV shows. A variety show where one man's characters are as dynamic and varied as his guests. I'm already laughing at there. What you see is what you get becomes a catchphrase. Thanks to the show's host and his vibrant personality, that he had one famous character that was more famous than the others. That's correct. Flip Wilson is correct. The Flip Wilson Show. And who was the character that he used to play that was the most famous? Who knows that? Anybody know that one? Yeah, Flip Wilson. And then, do you remember his character? He played in drag. Geraldine Jones. You remember that? Geraldine Jones. Well, anyway, that brings an end to round one. So how'd you guys do? It seems like you did pretty well. These were maybe a little easier than some other things we've done. So now I've actually created a intermission cartoon for us. So I am going to load that up. Give me 1 second here. And we'll have a quick intermission. So anybody that needs a bio break or something, you can do that. And within 1 minute, we'll be back for round two. Oh, here we go. My cartoon. This tells a little bit about my channel.
Quick Bite History aims to harness the power of AI to revolutionize storytelling through history. Our approach breaks free from the constraints of copyright-limited photography, enabling us to visualize any era, any moment, with unparalleled creativity. This liberation allows us to craft vivid, engaging narratives that bring the past to life in ways previously unimaginable. As an architect and artist, our commitment extends beyond storytelling. We're dedicated to staying at the forefront of digital innovations, not just to keep pace with technology, but to redefine the art of historical storytelling. This journey with AI empowers us to deliver captivating, informative content enriching our subscribers' experience and engaging a community passionate about history. Join us in exploring the endless possibilities of the past, brought to life with the technology of the future.
Anyway, so I created that because, I get a lot of questions on my different videos and things about the AI. That it's kind of a mixed bag. Some people are into it, and some people are, what in the heck? And so I'm going to be using AI on all my videos. So if you don't like it, you're in the wrong place. That's something I'm very into. But anyway, let's go ahead and queue up our next round of speed painting. Now, this one is famous writers, and it probably will be a tiny bit harder than the last one. So on to round 2, famous writers edition. You know the rules. This was an author whose novels frequently highlighted the societal struggles of the 19th century England. This writer's works often included themes of poverty, child labor, and class system. Who knows? "Please, sir, I want some more," is a memorable line in this writer's novel about a young orphan named Oliver Twist. Who knows? Remember the name? Has a little bit to do with Christmas as well. Does A Christmas Carol sound familiar? Who knows the writer? This is Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, like the Dickens. Second, number 2, a journalist and author known for creating a genre where reporting becomes a subjective narrative. Doesn't sound good. Fear, loathing, and the American dream are frequent motifs in this writer's work. This writer was the founder of Gonzo journalism. He wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Who knows the name of this writer? Anybody got it? Don't be shy. I knew the writers would be harder for you guys. I knew it would be tougher. This is Hunter S. Thompson. Hunter Thompson. All right. No, but save that answer for later. Okay, on to the next one. A Booker Prize winner, author whose works often merge the magical with the mundane. This writer's narrative style weaves together Eastern and Western storytelling traditions. He penned the book The Satanic Verses, which led to a fatwa calling for his death. Who remembers this author? He's written a lot of things. The Satanic Verses. Anybody remember? I think he had a run-in with the fatwa many years later after he. This is Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie. He's definitely won a lot of awards. He's on my top 20 list. So there you go. Okay, maybe you'll get this next one. A playwright whose works examine the American dream, tragedy, and guilt. His plays often depict family dynamics and personal integrity being tested. He wrote Death of a Salesman and The Crucible are two of his most acclaimed works. You guys remember who this is? I'll give you the last clue. I believe he was married to Marilyn Monroe at one time. Must have been pretty famous. Who knows? These are harder for you guys, aren't they? You guys need your little personal assistant right next to you. You should just type in like 20 famous authors, and then you have those to pick from. You see that? And they can include the pictures, so that you guys be able to do it that way. This was Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller. You remember that name now? Arthur Miller. All right, this one, I bet you get this one. This is more of a historical thing. This was a master of the macabre. His stories often explore themes of death and madness. Death and madness. This writer is often credited with inventing the detective fiction genre. Who knows? Final clue. The Raven and Telltale Heart are among his most famous works. You guys know this one. Who's got it? I bet you got it. You just aren't putting it in chat. We have any new players out there? Join us. Who's got the answer for this author? The Raven and Telltale Heart. Edgar Allan Poe. That sound familiar? Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, I know you're going to get the next one. I know you are. A Nobel Prize winning author known for his economical and understated style. His experiences as an ambulance driver in World War I heavily influenced his writing. The Old Man in the Sea and A Farewell to Arms are works by this man of adventure and a writer of concise prose. There you go. We have a winner. That is correct. Some of the books that I loved that he wrote were about the bullfights and stuff like that in Spain. Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway is the correct answer. Anybody remember another book by Ernest Hemingway? Who's got one? All right. Moving on to number 7. I'm glad you guys got one. A humorist and writer, his works often feature the life along the Mississippi River. I know you already know it. Known for his social commentary and critique of hypocrisy and injustice. Not going to give you that final clue yet. Who is this? I'll take either his real name or his pen name. Either one. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer are his well-known novels from boyhood, about boyhood and mischief. Boyhood and mischief. Who knows? I believe his real name was Samuel Clemens. Samuel Clemens, but his pen name was much more well known as Mark Twain. Mark Twain is the correct answer. There you go. You had it. All right, now this is more contemporary, so I expect the correct answer here. A British author who took readers to a magical school where witches and wizards learn their craft. She created a series where a boy with a lightning scar discovers his destiny and battles a dark lord. Who knows this one? I think she's about the most famous author these days. Who's got it? Who knows? The Harry Potter series brought this writer international fame and a dedicated fan base and a ton of money. Who knows? Well, first of all, the series, the Harry Potter series, right? So, who's the author? J.K. Rowling is her name. J.K. Rowling. All right. I hope you were saving up that answer from earlier. This gentleman was known for his meticulous prose and for pioneering the non-fiction novel. His most famous work investigates the murder of a Kansas family in 1959. The hat's kind of a famous giveaway, I think. He wrote In Cold Blood and Through the Legendary Black and White Ball. He used to throw a big party. There you go. Correct answer on the board. I knew that would come in handy later. That is correct. This is Truman Capote. Truman Capote. All right, we're halfway home. Next up, a playwright and poet whose works are synonymous with English literature. A playwright and a poet whose works are synonymous with English literature. From A Midsummer Night's Dream to Macbeth, his plays cover a wide range of human emotions and conflicts. I think you know this one. To be or not to be is one of the most famous lines from this Bard of Avon's play, Hamlet. I know you know this one. You're just tired of answering, you guys. I know. This is indeed William Shakespeare. Who knows a couple other Shakespeare plays, famous Shakespeare plays? All right, let's move back to a contemporary author. This gentleman is a prolific writer of horror, supernatural fiction, suspense, and fantasy novels. His stories often feature the small town of Maine and the darker aspects of American life. The Shining, It, and Carrie are among his master storyteller's most chilling and best-selling works. You guys know this. He's still writing stuff. And you'd be glad to know that he posts on Twitter, X, quite a bit as a liberal. The funny guy. Stephen King. Stephen King, of course. Master of Darkness. All right. Well, this is a fairly famous author that has a distinctive look. She was a writer and philosopher who created a philosophical system she called objectivism. Her novels often portray heroic individuals battling societal norms. Who knows? Who knows this one? Who's got the answer? Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead are her most notable works discussing individualism and capitalism. If you haven't known this one before, it's a good one to learn, and you should go read the books. This indeed is Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand. Aynrand. Ayn Rand. All right, we got a few more. Next one's a very famous gentleman, an American author whose novels captured the lives of working class people during the Great Depression. That ought to be enough to give it away right there. This Nobel Prize winning writing often explored themes of fate and injustice. Of Mice and Men and Grapes of Wrath are some of his most powerful and enduring works. Who knows the answer to that one? I think we had to read all those books in high school, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they still do that. You think they still have to read classic American novels in high school? I hope so. I don't know if they do or not. Who remembers the name? He was from, lived in the Monterey area, right? John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck is the correct answer. All right, this next one's one of my favorites as well, and he used to hang out with Mr. Hemingway. This was a key figure in the jazz age. His works reflect the excess and delusionment of the post-World War I era, part of the Lost Generation. His most famous novel is A Tale of Love and Loss on Long Island's North Shore. Very famous book, very famous movie. Who remembers the name of the book, the movie? Well, I guess you'd have to know the author first. The Great Gatsby is the masterpiece. It captures the spirit of the Roaring '20s. And this was the author. Very good writer. I don't think he wrote all that much, but he's well known to be one of the greatest writers. This is F. Scott Fitzgerald. F. Scott Fitzgerald, if you didn't know that before. Okay, we've just got a few more now. This author I never read much, but very famous. She was an American writer who spent a considerable part of her life in China, where she drew upon her experience there for her novels. Her works often depict the lives of peasants and the complexities of cultural interactions. Anybody remember this author? She won the Nobel Prize in Literature for her rich and genuinely epic depictions of peasant life in China. Notably, in the book called The Good Earth. The Good Earth. Remember that at all? I don't think I ever did read The Good Earth. Maybe Cliff Notes. Right? Maybe Cliff Notes. Shows you don't remember Cliff Notes. Pearl S. Buck. Pearl Buck. Pearl Buck. Nobel Prize winner. Okay, very famous name now. You're going to get this one. This is an English novelist and essayist. He wrote about social injustice and totalitarianism. His two most famous works are dystopian novels that explore the dangers of political oppression. Animal Farm and 1984 are this author's stark warnings about the perils of a surveillance state. Does that sound familiar? Stark warnings of a surveillance state. Anyway, he's quite in the discussion these days. No, not Karl Marx. Karl Marx is not on my list, although could have been. But Karl Marx is not on my list. This is George Orwell. George Orwell. 1984 is quite the famous book these days. Okay, a couple more. So this is this woman. I don't think I've ever read this woman, as a matter of fact, but I certainly have heard her name. Her name's used in culture quite a bit. A central figure in London's literary and artistic Bloomsbury Group. I've heard of the Bloomsbury Group. I haven't, but I'm sure it's well known. Known for her innovative use of stream of consciousness and the inner psychological lives of her character. Sounds interesting. Mrs. Dalloway and To the Lighthouse are prominent novels that showcase this author's narrative style and feminist themes. And how I remember in culture, there's a saying that who's afraid of is her name. So that's the answer. Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? Is the correct answer. Virginia Woolf. Okay. 3 more. Next up, an American writer whose works are set in the fictional Yokneamawa. Somebody help me with that pronunciation. County. Based on his home in Mississippi. So he writes about the South. He used a variety of narrative techniques, including shifting perspectives and stream of consciousness. The Sound and the Fury and As I Lay Dying are among his complex narratives that explore the human condition. Now, I'm not real familiar with those books, but I certainly know this author's name. Who knows this one? famous author, American writer from the South, William Faulkner. William Faulkner is this author's name. Two more. Though English was his third language, he became one of the greatest novelists, often delving into themes like existentialism and imperialism. His seafaring life influenced his darkly complex tales of the human psyche. Heart of Darkness is his novella that interrogates the depths of colonialism and what lies within the human soul. I think that's the most famous work that he did, is Heart of Darkness. Anybody know his name? It's a pretty good painting of him, actually. Seafaring life influenced his darkly complex tales. Joseph Conrad. Joseph Conrad. And now we've come to the last one. The last one. Here we are. An Irish novelist known for his innovative literary techniques and complex use of language. I've read a couple of his books and they're so hard. They're so hard to stick with. He writes so complex in my mind, but it's supposed to be worth it. So, I really try. His works often explore the consciousness of his characters through intricate internal monologues. No kidding. Ulysses, which parallels the Odyssey of Homer. Get this though, in the setting of Dublin. So it's just about a guy around Dublin, but it parallels Ulysses. It's considered one of the most significant works of a modernist literature, and very famous. James Joyce. James Joyce is the correct answer. So if you've never read James Joyce, give it a shot. Definitely give it a shot. We made it. Now, I know those were a lot harder, weren't they? All right. Well, appreciate you coming tonight. And I think I'll sign off with that. So good night, everybody. Thank you for playing.